Hello and welcome back to Dare and Doing. I'm Hester and I'm joined by the brilliant Ben Bowman. Ben, how are you feeling after the first England Euros group stage game?
It's coming home. It's coming. Football's coming home.
I still feel the same way.
I believe, yeah. I actually feel like I think I've kind of gone on this thing of like I've nailed my colours to the mast of like actually I think Southgate is a good manager and I think he's the right man for us. So much so that I actually think I feel more convinced that we're going to win it after the other night.
Really?
Not really.
Yeah.
No,
well,
but
so you just think we're just going to ease? You just think we're going to ease into it, sort of like gradually build and build?
Can I tell you something? Who won the last World Cup?
Portugal. Oh, fuck me. That's the worst. I think France. Argentina.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
And how did they get on in their first game in the World Cup in 2022?
Yeah, that's true, actually.
They lost to Saudi Arabia. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is true.
And I feel fine. I thought there was. We'll get into it in more detail, but like I thought there was a massive overreaction to the other night. But I feel good.
Yeah,
I feel good. How are you feeling about England? And
obviously we'll get into it a little bit more detail. It was so annoying. I felt like such a loser. I was working for the England game, so I was watching it whilst I was working, so I couldn't really. I had to watch it again the next morning, so I couldn't really like.
Did you watch the full game back?
Sort of immersed in it. Yeah, it's fucking so boring, mate. I hated every bit of it.
Good 30 minutes,
especially because
Good first 30 minutes.
That's the thing. We started really, really well, and then as soon as we scored that goal, we just like dropped back and accepted that. So I don't know. I think the worry was the defense going into it, and I said before, if your weakest point is going to be defense, Southgate's probably your best manager for that.
Yeah.
So he obviously was wary of that, and obviously he just really wanted to protect that 1-0 lead. So we got a clean sheet. But before we properly get into England, what's been your favourite game of the tournament so far, mate? What's caught your attention the most?
I think there's two shouts. I think they were both yesterday. Like the Romania game was unreal, and obviously we'll talk about Dragusin, but the Belgium-Slovakia game was hilarious. That was absolutely brilliant.
It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous.
Also, seeing the Scots get absolutely trounced on Friday night was funny. It's been some good games. It's been a good tournament so far.
It has.
Yeah, but yesterday it was one of those two. Probably Romania because of the storyline and like how the fans were incredible. And obviously Dragusin was unreal. But the Belgium-Slovakia was hilarious yesterday. Like Lukaku.
Mate, it was ridiculous. It was actually ridiculous. The memes of going about with Lukaku with like you were saying every time he missed a big chance for Belgium or for whoever.
There was just a photo of him drenched in sweat, hands on head. My favourite tweet though was
same photo.
Yeah, literally every time, and just this forlorn face. My favourite tweet though was the one that someone said, Romelu Lukaku plays. What was it? Where was it? Lukaku moves like when you get out of the swimming pool and your trunks are still heavy with water. That was the best one. But no, also Slovakia defended so well. Like Skriniar was really good.
Hanko's a player, by the way.
Yeah, very good player. Who was it that cleared off the line? Was it him?
It was Hanko, yeah.
Hanko, yeah.
And he had that. He went through the walls as well because obviously Doku sort of like tore him a new one, but he managed to recover. Yeah. Got back and with an outstretched leg, and I thought he did his knee in there. And then obviously he smacked his head on Skriniar's. Oh no, it wasn't Skriniar's. The other defender's knee.
Yeah,
when he cleared off the line. But he looks good. A lot of people have been talking about him from Feyenoord. Left foot centre back. He actually looks like maybe an emerging sort of. You you hear about all these players, then you actually get to see him on the biggest stage, and then you can really sort of make your mind up on him, judge him. He did well. I think they defended really well.
Good. Very Warriors. But can I just say, Trossard was shit. Trossard number 9 for Belgium is a disgrace. That is a disgrace.
Yeah, that is, small winger number 9. Don't look good.
That is a disgrace. Trossard 9 is a disgrace. Doku was good. Going off on a bit of a Spurs tangent before we get to Dragusin. These Onana, like people like desperate for us to sign Onana. Didn't see it yesterday. I really didn't. I'm not convinced at all. I don't think it will happen anyway. Like I don't think it will. I thought Mangala was more impressive than him. or Mongala,
Yeah.
or how you saying it?
Yeah, from Forest. Oh,
Yeah.
he's signed somewhere now from Forest, isn't he? I think.
Yeah,
Can't remember.
yeah, he was quite
Yeah,
good.
I know what you mean. I think there was a couple of moments where Onana really tracked back and he just covered the ground within about 0.5 seconds. He looked really good. And then you're looking at that from a Spurs perspective, thinking, well, that's what we kind of need in transition. But it's the technicality, and it's we could go up a notch in sort of the deep line playmaker, I think. Obviously, Bissouma's a sort of press-proven player, but I think we need to have something different, someone that offers something different to Bissouma. And I don't like in possession, and obviously someone that can really track back. But Onana, it's the price, I think. The price from Onana.
Not worth it for me.
I don't think he is worth it, but he is a great player. I mean, he'd be so good for like a Bayern Munich, or I'm trying to think off the top of my head. He'd be a massive player for
I think he suits Bundesliga massively. I think,
yeah, the transitional game of Bundesliga, 100%.
Yeah, how good was Dragusin though?
Mate. So when we talked about, I think this is on the last Spurs pod, we sort of briefly spoke about the Spurs players in regards to the Euros, and we were saying who's going to sort of emerge and do it on the biggest stage. And we talked about Van der Ven. Obviously, he was on the bench for Holland. Dragusin, fucking hell, he's him. That was a he's him performance, mate. Yeah, minutes of applause. That was literally one of the best centre-back performances from a 22-year-old playing for Romania, by the way. He didn't have much protection. He was a monster, and I'm so happy he got his flowers on all over social media, because people were realising how good of a player he actually is.
Yeah.
He had everything. Actually had everything yesterday, and it was a brilliant game. I think I thought Ukraine were going to be the dark horses because of the talent they had. That tackle on Sudakov, on the edge of the box.
Crunch.
I've never seen someone flop that. He just got the ball, but he was just there. It was like Sudakov just ran into a wall.
Yeah.
And he just come out with the ball. He was unbelievable. How promising was that from a Spurs perspective?
Really promising. And I was doing the fighting cock last night. We were talking about the England game, but we talked about Dragusin, and John Bass made a really good point about the fact that, like, with these nations, like these smaller nations, and not to patronise Romania, but they quite often these smaller nations hang their hat on almost like a diminutive, exciting, attacking player. Like we think of Romania with like Georgie Hadji or someone like that. In the past, or like some other nations, they have that. Their one exciting player that they hang their hat on is like an attacker. The way they responded to him and like were chanting his name in the stadium yesterday, and like they absolutely adore him. Like it's amazing, and we should be really excited about him next season. He was pretty faultless, to be honest. Like I think him and the other centre back, I can't remember his name. They struggled a little bit first 20 minutes. I thought Dovbyk did well. They looked a bit more threatening, but as soon as they went 1-0 up, Romania, they were the much better team, and they were just solid. So solid. Yeah. And like you said, that tackle on Sudakov, fucking give me the ball, bosh. It wasn't even like, it was like Romero, because it was like, people always talk about Romero and this rash, blah, 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 blah. One of Romero's biggest strengths is winning the ball back without looking like he's going to give a free kick away. And that's exactly what Dragusin did with that tackle yesterday. Crunched into him, nowhere near a free kick. Just got the ball. He's on the floor. Get up, play from the back. Back three next season? Who knows? Let's save it for a Spurs pod, but he was unbelievable.
Yeah, he's the type of defender that I would think you'd be shit scared of as an attacker. Sort of like that dominating 6'4", like incredible strength, genetic freak.
Yeah, you look at him, you don't want to play against him, do you?
Oh, no way. Especially when he's pumping his fist like at the crowd and getting pumped up. It was amazing to see. The goals in that game the goal catalogue was incredible.
The first one was unreal.
Oh, mate, Stanchu, whatever his name is. Oh my God, it was such a good goal. You know what?
Did you see him talking about Dragusin after? Sorry, did you see him talking about Dragusin after the game as well?
Yeah.
And also, one of the things I thought was quite poetic was the fact that he did it in the Allianz. It was in the Allianz Arena where we fucking I could have gone to Bayern. No, I've picked Tottenham, and I'm going to come back to your stadium. And I'm going to
drop his best performance.
He was literally dropped an all-timer in the stadium of the team that wanted to sign him.
Yeah, he did. It put him on the map. But you know what I was thinking of? Where the fuck was Vlad Chiriches?
Yeah, I know. Surely he must be retired now. Surely.
I think he's playing in like some second division somewhere.
Could you imagine Dragusin and Kirikes together? He's bald, man. He's bald.
Yeah, he's lost all his hair.
Yeah,
I think he had a receding hairline at Spurs, but I think he was hanging on to it.
Yeah, he plays in Romania. He plays for Steaua Bucharest. Plays for Steaua Bucharest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I don't know.
But you know what? I just want to say this, yeah. I mean, obviously, I think Ukraine can still go through, but there was a bit of a shock to the system because I think a lot of people had them for their dark horses.
Yeah.
One of their leaders is Zinchenko. He is the most auraless footballers I've ever seen in my life. Yeah.
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 Imagine got negative aura. Him and Cole
Palmer
got negative aura.
Minus aura. Thing is, imagine like you're playing for your country and you're hanging on against Romania and the crowd around you is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like the Romania, and you're playing against these monsters in Dragusin and the other players they had at defence and
and
then you look
Ukraine up, didn't they?
Yeah, and then you're looking like who's the warriors, who's the leaders to drag us out of this? Look left, Zinchenko.
Yeah,
it's like fucking. You might as well just pack up and go home now.
Do you remember? Do you know a player I was thinking about yesterday when Ukraine were playing, and I was thinking about Football Manager. I always used to sign. I can't remember his first name. Do you remember Konoplyanka, who used to play for Shakhtar Donetsk? Evan Konoplyanka. Oh no, it's not. Sorry, he wasn't at Shakhtar. He was at.
He was
at Shakhtar. Dnipro and Sevilla. Yeah, he was at Sevilla and Dnipro.
Always scored bangers, didn't he? In like
he played against us. Yeah, he played against us in the Europa League. And I remember thinking, this guy's class. And I was like, I remember signing him on Football Manager. He was unreal. What was I going to say as well? He also Romania in here now. My second team. I made a TikTok video yesterday reviewing the game. 218k views, and the Romania fans love me. They love me. They're like Dragusin. Oh, we love Tottenham. We love. I'm just like, yeah, fucking get them up. So if anyone knows. Before Saturday when they play Belgium, who, by the way, they could beat Belgium. They could beat Belgium.
I think so. Mate, Lukaku versus Dragusin. Who's winning in an arm wrestle between them?
Exactly. Oh, mate. Oh, my God. I need to see that. I usually play cricket on Saturdays, but I purposely said I'm not playing this week. I need to feast on the football. And Belgium against Romania is one of those games. But what was I going to say? Yeah, no, if anyone knows where I can get a Dragusin Romania shirt before Saturday, let me know. Because I need to. I've adopted Romania as my second team now. They love me.
Yeah,
the Romanian fans.
And who's covering? Sorry, we are going to get on to England, but who's covering the England game? And
and the Romania game?
And who's covering the Romania game?
And through it all, we'll play the way we want to. With big Ange Postecoglou. I've been waiting for it. It's been a while. Like, it went quiet, didn't it? It was like, oh, is Ange doing the Euros, right? It was like, yeah. He's there this Saturday. Belgium, Romania, about to comment on another Dragusin Hall of Fame masterclass all-time performance.
Yeah,
I think he's doing England, Serbia. He's doing England, Serbia, and he's doing 2 other games the day after, and then he's back to Hotspur away to focus on the upcoming season, mate.
Yeah,
but that's going to be class. Him and Roy Keane, like,
get the pillows on laps now, just in preparation for that.
You know that picture of Ronaldo and Messi where they're playing. Remember that Adidas campaign of Ronaldo and Messi where they're like playing chess?
Yeah,
it's going to be like that with Postecoglou and Keane, just greatness. Because they love each other as well. Yeah,
but I'm saying, I mean, he's all right, Souness, but did you see the thing where he gave up on his sort of excuse for why Scotland lost to Germany?
We've got a smaller population.
Look at Scotland's population, it's 3.5 million.
Yeah.
You look at Germany, and then he's just like, "Fuck, what am I fucking saying?" And then Roy Keane, I can't remember who else was it.
I think it was Ian Wright.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ian Wright. They were just like, yeah. I mean, look at Croatia. That isn't a point. That isn't actually a point that you're making. Oh my God, that was so funny.
Sky request a bet now to see if Gary Neville on ITV makes a shit joke about Pep Guardiola again to Postecoglou.
100%.
No,
100%. Yeah.
I'm just copying Pep.
I think it will be box office. I can't wait. I've rarely watched sort of the analysis, especially when it's like Rio Ferdinand and pundits like Danny Murphy. I don't really like listening to. I mean, this is my personal opinion, but when you have people like Ange Postecoglou, Gary Neville, Roy Keane, like that, you could sit down and listen to them for ages. And also, actually, Cesc Fabregas, what a pundit he is. And obviously, I reckon he's a manager. I reckon he's going to go quite far as a manager.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hear the way he talks about football. He knows it, doesn't he?
I made a video pipping him, saying, "Oh, he could be the next Chelsea manager," but apparently he can't manage Chelsea yet because he's not got the license or something. Because they're because Como were in like the second division or something like that. He was like a coach that then took like I don't know, something like that. Apparently he can't actually do a proper. Who knows? But which doesn't make sense because he's the manager of Como. But anyway, maybe it's a different license. But yeah, he was class. Yeah. And do you know what makes me die? Right, coming on to England. One, Rio Ferdinand and Cesc Fabregas. The fact that Rio Ferdinand said to Fabregas, he was like, "Oh, have you talking about Bellingham? It's like, have you ever played with a player like that young, showed that much leadership quality, and like you thought it was going to be class?" And Fabregas just went, "Yeah, Lionel Messi." And then Eni Aluko, right? I know Eni Aluko has said a lot of stuff that's just like, all right, come on, like, it's not great, right? She got absolutely hammered for saying that England should play with 2 number 10s in Foden and Bellingham and play Rice behind as that single pivot, and got absolutely slaughtered. That is basically what every England fan was calling for like a month ago.
Yeah.
And she says it, and then it's like, come on, like, do you know what I mean? Like, so people, like, I think she's all right. Like she said, naturally, like she said things that are fucking stupid. But then so's Rio Ferdinand, so's Mika Richards. I like Richards.
Most pundits always say something like you'll be able to clip any pundit up and see and show a pointless point or opinion.
Yeah.
Sorry, I butchered that sentence so bad. But I mean,
even she's just giving her opinion. She's like exactly. She's not pretending it's groundbreaking because like a load of England fans said that like, oh, follow the Germany way, like with Musiala and Wirtz, and play with 2 10s. And then she says it, and it's like, duh. It's like she's just giving her opinion.
Yeah,
it's like Jesus Christ. I don't know. It's so ridiculous.
Talking about Postecoglou, and this is how we're going to sort of get into talk about England. The difference between watching Spurs this season as because obviously with Spurs fans, the difference between Postecoglou and then watching Southgate is night and day. It's absolutely night and day. But we did start well, and we did start on the front foot, and it was encouraging to see because you were seeing quite a fluidity in the way we attacked, and then once we went 1-0 up, sort of just allowed Serbia back into the game. So sort of sum up that performance, because obviously we got the 3 points and a clean sheet, but we were criticised for being really pragmatic, and I think a lot of people came away from the game feeling underwhelmed. What was your takeaway from it?
I said this last night when we did the Fighting Cockles. I didn't think it was that bad, but I get I get the negative reaction. I think my overall takeaway is that it was a really good performance for 30 minutes. Overall, I didn't really think we looked like conceding. I thought we were pretty solid at the back. It was just disappointing to see us go into our shell again. Like that's the disappointing thing. And like you said, kind of with the way that you've been used to kind of, seeing Spurs play this season and that bravery. Like, and I know the thing is, the approach to international football is so different. You know, like pragmatism does win you tournaments. Yeah, that's why Southgate has got a good record with England, kind of getting us that far. But it is, you just feel like maybe if that was a better team and you kind of approach it the same way, then not necessarily because of the personnel. Like so much was made out of Trent in midfield and Foden and all that. Like obviously we'll come on to that. Yeah. But it's more the overall ethos of like what we're trying to do. And like we've got some of the best players in the world, like Bellingham, that puff your chest out and like, let's go and grab this game. Just don't need to do it anymore, really. As in like just regress into our shell. It's disappointing. But I think the most important thing for me is 3 points and a clean sheet. I think that's important. I think it's, especially when you've got there were questions to answer in terms of the defence with Mark Gay coming in. Like me and you are both big fans of Mark Gay, but there was a question mark there because of the fact that we've been so used to seeing Maguire and Stones for so long, and you trust Harry Maguire. But that's a box ticked with Mark Gay for sure. And I think there are more positives that you can take away from the negatives, even though the performance wasn't exactly the most inspiring. But look at France last night. It was a bit of a struggle. They went for that kind of more experienced approach with Rabiot in midfield with Kante. You know, they had Tchouaméni and Camavinga both on the bench. And I think that kind of teaches England a bit of a lesson in the sense that maybe that is the right way to go. But also, you shouldn't be afraid to leave some of your better players, in quote unquote, on the bench if you feel like the benefit is there for the system for other players to come in and shine, maybe like an Anthony Gordon. But we'll talk about Foden more in a minute.
Well, let's talk about that France, because I think France is a really good point that you made, because when you're watching every single game of the tournament, and then you watch England, and we're a little bit disappointed. Obviously, we got the job done with the 3 points, but you do compare, and you're looking at who's the favourites, and obviously Germany performed at a really high level. There was another team I can't remember. Spain played really well.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
And then you're looking at France last night. France were underwhelming as well, and I guarantee the French fans would feel a little bit anxious about that, especially with Mbappe. Is he going to be back for the Netherlands game? Obviously, they're going to get through France, but they were underwhelming with a 1-0 win as well against Austria last night. So do you think everyone should just calm down a bit? Or do you think it's because we're scarred from past tournaments? Obviously, went 1-0 up against Italy in the final of the last Euros, and then just tried to see the game out straight away instead of going for the jugular. I mean, I think that's where we went wrong against Serbia. I think if we were pragmatic from the second half and just saw the game out and had held possession and kept that composure, it would be people would be looking at it a different way. I think it's just the fact that we got the one goal and we sort of just allowed Serbia to grow in confidence into the game. So do you think people were scarred, or do you think people were sort of just? Do you think people just need to calm down and sort of just let us sort of grow and build momentum ourselves?
Yeah, I think there's a middle ground in which I do lean more towards the latter in terms of what you said about just let's see how we get on, let's grow. And that I mean, it's kind of, I think it comes down to who you are as a football fan a little bit sometimes as well. Like, watching Tottenham, watching England is quite a similar experience. Like it's, they kind of go through a lot of the same pain. But if you take that half, like I just think that I get it. I get why people are scarred. I get why people think it's boring. But there's been a way too over-the-top reaction to a team that's won 1-0 and got a clean sheet and looked pretty solid at the back. Because let's be honest, did Serbia really look like scoring in that second half? Not really. For me, the disappointing thing in terms of the way that we didn't control the game in that second half was because we kept going long. I didn't get that. I really didn't get it, because it's like we've got John Stones, one of the best ball-playing centre-halves in the world. Kyle Walker, who plays in the Man City system, built and playing out from the back. Mark Gahey, he obviously hasn't played a lot under Glasner, but Mark Gahey is a good ball-playing centre-back. Obviously, naturally, Trippier on that left-hand side, although I thought Trippier was okay. Like, he looks clunky when he gets into the final third, but I thought he did a better job than he did in the Iceland game. And then you've got Declan Rice and Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield. I know Trent made that one mistake, but who are comfortable receiving the ball in deep areas and playing. That's what I didn't like. If you want to go long sometimes to relieve that bit of pressure, fair enough. And you've got Harry Kane up there who can make it stick and is one of the best all-round strikers and one of the best hold-up play strikers in the world. So it makes sense. But we did it far too often. And, Kane's not going to win that knockdown every single time. I'm not going to. There was one time where he brought the ball down ridiculously well.
Cool. Yeah.
It's unbelievable on the turn and then laid it. But you're not going to be able to do that every time. So have a bit of trust and confidence in yourself to play out from the back and keep possession, because we weren't doing that anywhere near enough. And if you want to grind the game out and be boring that way and play your football, then I don't think many people would have had as much of a problem with it. It was just the fact that we kept going so direct and so long. It just didn't really make... It makes sense in terms of the ability to hit Kane because he can hold it, but he's not going to be able to do that every time. And also Bellingham dropped off Kane a lot more in that second half. So there wasn't someone there to receive the knockdown. And then when you haven't got a proper outlet on the left-hand side in Gordon, you can't knock it, bring it down, then go. Like, you haven't really got that ability. That was what I found quite disappointing. But we ground it out and we got the win. And I think we'll see a different game against Denmark. We have to. I think we should.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, we're going to get onto Denmark in a bit. But what were your overall thoughts on Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield? And before we get onto that, actually, something I did really like, and you can see the potential as we progress through the tournament, is the substitutions we can make now, the flexibility we have with the personnel in midfield, where to see games out, maybe not like as soon as we take the lead, but the last 15-20 minutes we can see the game out by bringing on to partner with Declan Rice, Gallagher, and a Mainu or an Adam Wharton. I think that's really, really good to see games out with possession, legs, battling, and just sort of just getting at the opposition when they're trying to grow back into the game, just frustrate them. I think that's really good. They have really good personnel to bring on in tournaments like this. But anyway, what was your thoughts on Trent Alexander-Arnold in midfield, and where there was a lot of question marks heading into the game? Do you think he lived up to the billing, or do you think there's areas of the game that he needs to? I think he just needs to grow.
Yeah,
he'll understand. Again, he's inexperienced in that position. What were your thoughts on that?
I totally agree. I thought Trent was nowhere near as bad as people made out. I think it's the classic thing of like what's happened to football now, and like football Twitter and stuff, is they take one mistake and that defines your performance, I think, a lot of the time. Because that, and also, it defines your performance, but also defines your ability, in this case with Trent, to play in that position. I think he should, before we come on to how I thought he played, I think he's got to stick with it. I think he has to stick with it because he's nailed his colours to the mast in terms of Southgate, in terms of like, this is my baby, this is my project. He's talked openly about the fact that like he was the one that worked on this with Trent, like it's his thing. Yeah. So I think one, he's got to stick with it. One, to not just to save face, but also to give him a proper go. Like you just said it there, like he's got to be allowed to grow. He's got to be allowed to grow. I worry about the Denmark game a little bit in the sense of Trent Alexander-Arnold because their midfield, we'll talk about it a bit more later, but like their midfield is very combative and very energetic with Højbjerg, Eriksen, Højlund, and is it the striker who played with Højlund the other day? I can't remember his name. Is it Wind? Something like that.
I didn't watch the full game actually.
Well, you've got two strikers that you've got an press from the front, and Eriksen just behind them, and you've got Heung-Min and Højbjerg. That's a very diminutive, well-oiled, energetic midfield who are going to press.
Yeah.
So I worry about Trent a little bit there because I don't think the Serbians actually pressed him too much. And the one mistake he actually did make in that sense of giving the chance to Mitrovic, he was under no pressure, but it was just a poor touch. That touch does not define his ability to play in that position because you would back Trent Alexander-Arnold. If you look at the screenshot of it, and I went through this on my video that I did on YouTube yesterday.
Yeah.
If you look at the screenshot of Trent in that position where he loses the ball, he could play that ball first time around the corner to Walker without really looking because you've backed Trent in the ability that he's got on the ball to do that.
Yeah.
He has got that in him. But it's just a poor touch. It doesn't reflect because people will look at that and think, yeah, well, back to goal. He's not used to receiving the ball in those positions. He's not a midfielder. He's not a natural midfielder. He's a right back. He's used to seeing the whole game in front of him. All of that is true. That is all true. And there will be moments, I think, where Trent will be found out more than maybe this game. But it's just a bad touch. I think it's just a bad touch. Yes, it could have cost us.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it didn't because I think the spotlight on Trent has been a lot. And I love Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think he's an amazing footballer. And I kind of like, naturally, like going into these things, like you kind of like this certain storyline or the way that Southgate wants to do something, or you kind of attach yourself to a player a little bit. And I feel like I've been quite defensive of Trent, and maybe that's clouding my judgment on this a little bit because I think I love him as a footballer, and I think he can play well in that midfield. I just think it was a bad mistake. I thought for the most part there was a couple of times where he intercepted the ball really well and allowed us to play. I think he allows Bellingham to have more space as well to go on that little bit more. I don't think it's perfect, but I don't think we should give up on it either. I think people are saying it's not worked. The Trent Alexander-Arnold experiment has failed. It's like it's not. It's really not.
But did we not expect growing pains as well?
Exactly.
It's a position he's never played. I know that he's. I know a lot of the time he's taken up the same sort of positions in the Liverpool system, especially last season. But I know the argument could be made is that you had number 6s, number 8s sort of dragging players away, opening up pockets of space for him to invert at Liverpool, whereas he is that player to either come for the ball or to drag people away because he's playing in midfield. But I mean, it's going to take a little bit of time, and that's kind of what a group stage is about. Trying little things where the risks aren't, the consequences aren't as extreme and as harsh. It will be interesting to see over the next couple of games. I think I agree. I think you have to stick with it. You can't. Yeah. What does that do to his confidence if you just be like, yeah, fucking that didn't work. Let's put you back right as a backup right back? Because Kyle Walker, I think because of his experience and his leadership, I think he's nailed on right back start.
Yeah, I agree.
And the fact that he can sort of cover, he can sort of shift into almost the right centre back role and defend the the wide spaces in transitions
which I think is big when
but
Shaw comes. But sorry, which I think is big
massive,
when Shaw comes back as
massive,
well.
yeah,
Because
massive.
you've actually then got someone in. You've got Walker, Stones, and Gahey who can tuck in as a back three, and then you've got Shaw who can up. But again, Shaw's
he's so underrated in this system, Luke Shaw, and I want to get onto that later as well. But yeah, I just think you kind of have to just stick with it. If he does make mistakes, just stick with that and let him allow that sort of the growing pains to sort of settle, and allow him to sort of gain that more and more understanding and confidence in these next couple of games. And then by the knockout stages, if he isn't right, then we can make a change. But at least we've given him the full sort of trial he deserves, because he's an unbelievable player and he's a big game player as well. And
if much experience.
In games he's struggling, exactly, and quality and But moving on then to Phil Foden, because he got a lot of stick as well. And there was a debate from on BBC after the game with Fabregas and Micah Richards. Obviously, he was playing on the left-hand side, which he's not as used to playing on the left than he is on the right or in the number 10 position.
Yeah.
First of all, what were your takes on his performance, and what's your opinion on the Fabregas Richards debate? Like, who do you side more with more? Because Fabregas was saying, for context, Fabregas was saying how if you look at Bellingham and how Bellingham took on that responsibility in an England shirt, and his performance showed the quality and the leadership and the mentality he has to sort of to adjust to wherever he was playing, whether it was number 8, number 10, and stand out. And he was asking more of Foden on that left-hand side to sort of come for the ball, show yourself a bit more, and take more risks on the ball. I think he was sort of alluding to the fact that Foden was a little, not hiding a little bit. And then Richards was obviously backing Foden up and saying how he's playing on the left. It's difficult. Where do you side on this?
I think Micah Richards has got every right to kind of stick up for Phil Foden. I think, again, the criticism for Foden's probably been a little bit over the top. Like, really wasn't a great performance, and he probably was England's worst player. I thought Trent was better than him. But Fabregas is completely right. Like, Fabregas is right. Like, you shouldn't have to, with the quality that he's got, you shouldn't have to worry about how you build the system around Phil Foden. It should be more of like, drop him in and he can play that well anywhere. And we don't make these excuses for like Jude Bellingham or Bukayo Saka or Harry Kane, who are just able to. Saka's probably a better comparison because there's similar age and similar position and stuff, and similar kind of trajectory in their career. Like, we don't make these excuses for players like that who are able to just transfer their club form to international level. Foden scored 4 goals for England. I think it's like Trent. Like, I still think you keep Foden in there because he can, with one moment of magic, he can just win you the game. And actually, there was a few times, I think James Alcott highlighted this really well in his video. Actually, in the first half, there were a few times where Foden got into really good positions and they just didn't find him. They just didn't pick the pass. And then he gets frustrated. But there were times where he did get into those positions and he just didn't show the same quality on the ball. And I think the Foden left wing thing gets made so much out of it. Like, he's not really playing there anyway. He's coming into nice areas off the ball. You've got Trippier there holding the width. Luke Shaw coming back into the team, I think, will help that even more. Yeah, and I think Foden's kind of got that license a little bit, especially with Kane playing more as the focal point and almost having Bellingham and Foden as those 2 10s when you do build up through possession. Like, he wasn't good, Foden, but again, we shouldn't just be like, Gordon's got to play now. Like, Gordon's got to play. You got a bench. I thought it was disappointing maybe that Gordon didn't come on.
I was disappointed with that. I was really disappointed with that.
Yeah, but I think, again, but also, Foden set the bar with his performances in the Premier League so high, so high, that even an average performance for Foden isn't going to look great. So a poor one is going to look really poor. And I think that's what we saw. But he's allowed an off day. He didn't really have many for Man City last season. First game in the group, a bit like Trent, you've got to allow these players to kind of grow. And in the group stage is when you can iron out the kinks a little bit in terms of what you think things might be working, might not be working. And you got a bench for a reason. So hopefully he does use it. But I think it's still 100% starts for me against Denmark.
Yeah, so before I talk about Phil Foden, there was a question here that I was going to sort of bring up. Going into the next few games, do you think? Trying to say, so just trying to find out the running order. Like, do you think we just grow into the tournament, try and build momentum on this 1-0 win, and just and learn from it and make tweaks with the same personnel, or do you want to see some more tweaks and changes for the next game? But I think you sort of covered that question in saying that you'd stick with Trent and you stick with Foden, right?
Yeah, 100%. You can't give it. You can't roll the dice now. You can't give up on it that early. It's like the first group game, and again, like there were things about both of their performances that weren't perfect. There were certainly better things about Trent's performance than Foden's that you can take away as a positive.
Yeah,
but again, it's kind of one of those things where this is the problem with international football a lot of the time, where club fans have got a skin in the game about their player. Like Newcastle fans will be like, Gordon's got to play, man. He's got to get in the fucking team. And it's like you can make that case 100%. Like, absolutely. Gordon showed a lot against Iceland. He's been brilliant for them this season. And you could argue that he is what this system needs. But unfortunately, that's not to say that I don't think Foden's on. We'll get to that in a sec. But for me, you still go with Foden. That's not to say that he isn't undroppable. Absolutely not. Because Foden has come in and out of the England team before. Like, Foden's not been seen as indispensable by Gareth Southgate. The last Euros, Foden was a lot younger then, of course. That was 3 years ago. He started the first couple of games and then he brought Saka in. And he used Saka for the rest of the tournament pretty much. And then went to Sterling and I think maybe was it Mount maybe for the final in that front three, which was just whatever. But
Mount was playing, yeah.
Yeah. So he will. I think if Foden doesn't turn up in the group games, I think Southgate will look at it and think, well, I've got these players on the bench. Part of me thinks that if he did go with a more experienced option like Grealish, I think he would turn to Grealish quicker than maybe someone like a Gordon or maybe someone like an Eze on that left hand side. I think he'd be much more likely to make that substitution. I don't think Southgate should be afraid to do it. And like as we said earlier, in terms of France, like last night, in terms of leaving Camavinga and leaving Tchouameni on the bench and going with the experience of Rabiot and Kante in midfield, again, it's not comparable in terms of the position, but it's comparable in the sense of like, yes, there might be this incredible hype around these players, but you don't have to play them. And it's a squad game. You can bring Phil Foden off the bench if you want to. But I still think go with him. Yeah. I still think go with him. He's allowed a bad game. Like, these players are allowed bad games. So England fans have we've got this attitude that's like, it's kind of the same. I'm sure we'll come and talk about Kane, but it's like Kane got so much stick for his performance. And people just expect him, because he scored 46 goals or whatever in the Bundesliga and the Champions League and that he's just going to turn up and rock and score 2 goals against Serbia. He's been asked to do something. He was obviously being asked to stay out of the way, which again, he can't win. He can't win because England fans have been saying, he drops too deep, gets in the way for Phil Foden and Jude Bellingham, blah, 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 blah. Then he plays as the focal point number 9. It's like, he's not involved. Can't touch the ball, get him off, get Watkins on. Or Tony, it's like, what makes you think that they're going to get in the game more than Harry Kane? And actually, Harry Kane was so important for those last 20 minutes at relieving that pressure. There was a moment at the end of the game, winning that free kick. It was so typical Kane, but just settles everybody down a little bit. So I think you can kind of group Kane, not so much, because Kane is definitely guaranteed to play whatever 100%, and people might have their issues with that, but fucking grow up. Trent and Foden are bracketed together because they're in the danger zone, so to speak. But just calm down. Just let them grow. I think let them gel into it. I am a bit worried about the Denmark game for Trent, but we'll come on to that a little bit more in a bit. But I think Trent and Foden, there's kind of two sides of the same coin a little bit. Trent's performance was better than Foden's, but there's still a lot for them both to be able to do to prove themselves. But that said, still give them the chance. Still 100% give them the chance, without a doubt, on Thursday for me.
So where I get 100%, I get both sides of the debate from Fabregas and Micah Richards, because Foden's weakest position probably is left wing, but you look at Bellingham, you look at Saka, Kane. I know they are playing in more comfortable positions for themselves, but they show that mentality in the fact that they want to be. I think Foden does hide a little bit in the sort of in his body language and his persona, whereas Bellingham. I mean, you look at the difference between him and Bellingham. But that won't really. That doesn't really matter. I just think it'll be interesting. I think one more game with Foden on the left, just to see how it goes. But I think what Foden needs is Luke Shaw. What you said, I agree with that, because he just adds so much more balance in the fact that he can really hug the width and hold that width on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
And him and Foden can sort of play off each other, and then Foden can invert a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I think I am a little bit siding towards the Geordies, because I think the balance. I think for international football, you need balance, you need experience, and you need to be ruthless and brutal in the way in the selection. And it might have to be Saka or Foden on the right, and go with that, and then have someone, an out and out left winger with an out and out left back when Shaw comes back. And you'll see I think you'll get better out of Harry Kane, because Gordon will always offer you that running behind on the left. Kane can do what he is best at doing, Harry Kane, and drop deeper, a little bit deeper. Bellingham can obviously run off Harry Kane, and then you have Saka, who I think was great against Serbia.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm siding towards that idea more, because we've got so much quality, and sometimes you just need to be a little bit brutal and just say, Saka and Foden, you have it out on the right hand side. Obviously, Cole Palmer didn't even get a sniff against Serbia. Eze didn't get a minute against Serbia, but I just think, and neither did Anthony Gordon. But I want to see the dynamic and the balance. I think it will be a lot more settled and a lot more comfortable when you have Anthony Gordon out and out left winger, Shaw left back. But Shaw may change the dynamic with Foden on the left, like with the reasons I gave. But
I agree with that.
It is a problem. But like we said, I think Shaw may solve that problem. But if he doesn't,
it's also not a bad problem to have, is it? Either, really.
Oh no.
Like,
we're so privileged.
Yeah, exactly. Also, like, you're right about the Saka Foden thing, but for me, it's still Saka. I think it's Saka every day of the week. Like, I think in terms of what he brings to that team.
I think so.
And I think Foden. I think you're right. I think Foden needs Luke Shaw a little bit. I think England, again, fucking stating Captain Obvious, but England need Luke Shaw, because I was thinking back, and I said this in my video that I did. Think back to the round of 16 game against Germany in the last Euros. Where did our goals come from? Being able to move the ball from right to left, creating those overloads down the left-hand side. The first Sterling goal comes from Luke Shaw zipping that ball across the box. You've got Sterling and Kane in the box ready to tap it in. Then the second goal comes from a very similar move, but it's Grealish who's in that left channel, who then gets in and crosses to get the game. It's a bit more stretched and a bit more open, but it still comes from that right to left movement and having that outlet on the left-hand side. The first goal is so key, especially in terms of wanting to break a team down. The second one isn't as important, but the first goal, I think it's Walker into Kane. Kane lays it off to Sterling. Sterling into Grealish to Shaw, across Sterling run 1-0 goal, pandemonium.
Yeah.
Luke Shaw. I don't have an issue with Kieran Trippier, really. Trippier was poor in the Iceland game, but I thought he was actually quite good on Sunday. The problem with Trippier, if you look at his heat map, he was getting up and down. Like, he did hold the width quite well. But if you do find yourself in those positions where you're able to create those overloads and then load the box with Harry Kane, who's always going to be in there, especially in the way he's been asked to play now, and Jude Bellingham, as we saw from his goal, is the best box-crushing number 10 in the world. If you've got Luke Shaw on that left-hand side as the outlet, who you're able to create the pressure, move slowly towards the box, play the ball into Shaw's feet where he doesn't have to then come back inside, that's what Trippier will do, which will kill the momentum. So I think Shaw's massively important for that reason as an attacking outlet. But Trippier defensively, I thought was fine. And again, it's going to take Shaw a minute to get up to speed. But that's why I think, like, Gordon, yes, 100%. I also think Eze is a very good shout down that left-hand side, because I think, and of course I love a Barry Eze. I've got a Barry Eze fucking T-shirt on right now, tattooed on my back. But I do think England missed that Grealish profile. Again, one game, it's hard to say that we miss X, but I think England missed that Grealish profile a little bit in the squad, of someone who's able to slow the game down and hold the ball in those attacking areas. It's not so like frantic, like what we're going to do. Which Foden can be a bit at times, and that's, Foden's got so much composure. But I think having Eze on that left-hand side, who has got that moment of ability to jink inside and do something magical, but has also got the ability to slow it down. And then once you've got Shaw on his bike going the other way, to just lay that pass into him a little bit. And also, he's a good pressure reliever. Grealish would do that all the time, win free kicks. Eze gets kicked all over the place. think that's kind of what we miss a little bit on that left-hand side. Not necessarily from the start, but as a substitution. Which is why I was surprised. I was surprised he didn't take Grealish, but that's kind of a conversation that's 2 weeks old. But yeah, that's why I think Eze could be quite important on that left-hand side as we go deeper into the tournament, just as a pressure reliever more than anything, but also someone who's got that ability in the final third.
I kind of, after saying it out loud, the Foden and Bellingham comparison in sort of the mentalities, I stand by it, but I think it's easier for Bellingham to show himself.
Bellingham's got more visible. He's got more visible aura, isn't he? Like, I know aura is a word. It just makes it. We were talking about this at the pub the other day. If you say someone's got aura, it pretty much I think means that you probably just want to fuck them. Which I kind of, Which I would say with chess, Jude Bellingham's got aura, but Bellingham's like aura is more visible, isn't it? Like it's more pronounced.
Mentality, passion. Yeah,
exactly. It's more. It's on the surface level, and don't get me wrong, it goes deeper than that. But Foden. For me, like where I slightly disagree with what you were saying
with him.
Do you see me? We talked about this last week, the Skims thing. What a boy! But with where I slightly disagree with you, and I think it's probably what you were just going to say then, is that I actually think that again, Foden in that first half was looking for the ball a lot. I don't think he went hiding. So I think that was maybe one of the other things that was one of the only things that I think Fabregas said that I did disagree with. But he is right in what he's saying in terms of we shouldn't have to be worrying about building this team around him and not building the team around him, worrying about how we accommodate Foden. He should just be able to step up and shine. But again, we might see. I've got a feeling against Denmark on Thursday. I think Foden's going to score and I think Trent's going to have a good game. I just think this is how it works sometimes.
Yeah,
I would not be surprised if that happens. I would absolutely love nothing more than Trent. You know, he had that shot that went down the throat of the goalkeeper. In the second half, imagine Thursday, Trent picks it up, Alexander-Arnold top bins, Foden gets a goal. Just shut up.
I would love it if you did that.
I think Trent would give it that as well. I think Trent would go up to the camera and say,
"Oh yeah, I think so." Yeah.
You listen, it's me and you right now. That's what you do.
I mean, my point was going to be that it's so much easier for Bellingham to do that because he's right at the core of the game as well, like right at the center of the pitch. And he's covering the ground. He's right. He's battling, and it's much more visible than someone being out on the wing. And when they're on the ball, that's when you're looking. Then as soon as he's on the ball in an attacking opportunity, and it just weren't happening for him. So it was sort of. It was more obvious that he was having a bad game than if someone right in the middle of the park was. Do you know what I mean? Sorry.
Totally agree. That makes a lot of sense. I totally get what you mean. I do get what you mean. But I think naturally it's kind of sort of what we said as well about Bellingham Bellingham can't hide because he's got so much presence. Like he just can't.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, he just doesn't hide anyway. And that's not because he's not hiding. It's just that like he's so noticeable on the pitch. Because of his kind of presence and stuff.
So talking about Bellingham, how good is he, mate? Because if we win this tournament, say we win it, say it comes on, it's surely he's nailed on for a Ballon d'Or, no? Because
he's got the La Liga tax on his side as well. He can't not lose. He's got the La Liga thing. Exactly.
The Liga, Champions League, and Euros. I mean, it depends on who wins the Copa America because everyone's talking about Vinicius Junior. But I mean, Bellingham's the way he was acting and the aura, but the mentality, the passion. It was like he's making this his tournament. Obviously, he was in the Adidas video. Obviously, he's Kim K's new underwear model. Like everything's happening at the right time. He's becoming so commercialized, but he's taking it on the chin and he's making this tournament about him. And if he wins this tournament, Ballon d'Or, surely. Ballon d'Or.
Ballon d'Or. I'll take it on the chin from Bellingham. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, mate, 100%.
Bellingham's class. No, he was amazing. Like he faded a little bit in the second half as well, but so did everyone. But again, even when he faded, he was still there and he was still like winning a free kick or like just you could give him the ball and he'd hold it. Like he just didn't. He's such an amazing player. And we talked about this last week prior to the first game about how there has been so much chat about Bellingham in the last like couple of months about, is he as good as he thinks he is? Is he as good as people say? Like, you know, those Champions League games didn't quite turn up, all this shit. Absolute nonsense. Like the guy is incredible. He's absolutely incredible. That goal was so satisfying because the cross sort of took a deflection, looped up, and he was just like, "This is mine. This is my ball."
Animal. Yeah.
Bosh. And it was such a good header as well. It's just like, didn't even need to put top corner. Keeper was rooted, just bang, straight in the top corner. I love him. I'm in love with Jude Bellingham. I just think that he, I loved when he smashed Kostic as well. I don't give a shit about that. People I've even seen some England fans being like, oh, maybe did he overstep the line a little bit there? No. Bellingham gets kicked all the fucking time. All the time.
Yeah.
It's like,
why that game?
Yeah, it's why I'd kind of love Saka to be a little bit more like that. Just don't let him take I'd obviously Tottenham podcast, that aside, I'd really like Bukayo Saka. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great player. I would just love to see Saka a little bit have that attitude as well. Just if you're going to kick me, I'm going to fucking give you one back as well. Because Saka sometimes that's where the preconceptions sometimes come around. Saka about he rolls around all that shit, which again is kind of just stupid football Twitter club tribalism nonsense a little bit. But I love the fact that Bellingham's if you're going to kick me, it's because I know how good you think I am. Yeah, and he wears it like a badge of honor. And he summed it up brilliantly after the game. He got interviewed on ITV and was just he's just said, we know that the natural reaction is going to be negative. It's just how we deal with that. And it's just that we kind of take each game as it comes. We take the good with the bad, move on. His attitude, as arguably the best player or second best player to Harry Kane in this team, is exactly how every England fan should take it. And I get that we're the fans that have been through however many years of hurt since we last won a trophy. And we've come so close. And it's been so agonising. But take each tournament as it comes. Take each game as it comes, because that's how you get that far. World Cup 2018, we went in that with no expectations. We got to the semi-final because we just took each game as it comes as a fan base. We rode the wave and fuck me, we could win it. Euro's a little bit similar, but even though there was more expectation. The World Cup, obviously, we went into it thinking we could win this, 100%. That's the attitude we need to have. The arrogance and the confidence that we think we can go far, but also just calm down a little bit. Just take each game as it comes. And that comes back to the Foden thing, comes back to the Trent thing. But yeah, I thought Bellingham was exceptional. Just there's not really much that you can actually say in terms of his performance, because I think he just speaks for himself a little bit in terms of when you just watch him. I can't really comment on he did this really well or did that really well. He was just incredible.
He was.
Are you worried? Sorry, can I ask you something?
Yeah.
Can I ask you something? Do you think that we talked about this on the Fighting Cock last night, and there's been chat about it, and I was worried a couple of months ago that I thought Bellingham, with his his kind of his attitude and I don't mean attitude in a negative, because I think attitude, when you talk about footballers' attitude, is immediately comes as
I know what you mean.
His attitude that he carries onto the pitch.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, I was thinking in my head, has he got a Rooney moment in him? Has he got a Beckham moment in him? That little kick out or that little something or a red card?
Yeah.
Do you think he's got that in him, or do you think are you worried about that at all?
The thing is with Bellingham's trajectory is that and you're looking at it and you're thinking, where's the fucking low here? Where's the sort of dip or the sort of chink in the armour of he's just. It's just shot up and it just looks like it's never going to stop. But I feel like every footballer has a moment like that. Every football does have a moment where they let themselves down or let the team down, and they always bounce back, and that's what makes them great. I can definitely see him 100%. I can definitely see him getting overstimulated in a big game for England. Believing he's the main man still and doing something stupid, because at the end of the day, he's fucking 20 years old, mate. He's 20 years old. But that attitude is why I think the personnel, that mentality, instills the confidence in you as a fan. Okay, borderline, he could do something. He could get overstimulated, overpassionate, do something irrational. But it makes you believe 58 years of hurt, and we've got that personality now in midfield. He's just one that he's back off of winning the Champions League and the La Liga. And he's hungry for more. He gives you that feeling. He fills you with confidence. But I do see that. I do see I do see your point. I can see him doing something like a kick out. But you know what? Go on. You.
No, go on. Go on.
Oh, you don't want to hear what I was about to say.
I think I was going to say. What? Go on.
But watching him actually makes me realise I might have a humility kink. Yeah, because I'm so when I watch him play football, it turns me on so much. But it makes me feel like a fat loser for being the same age as him all at the same time.
Mate, I'm 6 years older than him. How old do you think that makes me feel?
Yeah, man, he's just a mountain of a man, isn't he? Just like
he's unreal.
I'm still waiting to fucking get my first pube.
Yeah, he makes my knob so bloody hard, mate. I thought a couple of months ago, I thought the same as you, but now I don't. I don't think that he will. I really don't. I think that Bellingham is the most mature, emotionally and physically footballer at that age I've ever seen. I think he's got something different about him where it's like, I just can't see that. I can't see him rising to it. I can see him giving a fucking shove, and if you're going to give it to me, I'm going to give it to you. We can have this now, outside or on the pitch, whatever you fucking want. But I can't see him. There's a line, and I can't see Bellingham overstepping it. And I think Bellingham, obviously, he had it the other day, that moment, and the celebration and the goal and all that, because that goal felt like a moment. Some goals just feel like, because of the nature of the goal, it felt like a moment for Bellingham. I think Bellingham is going to have a big moment in that. I think like quarterfinal winner or something like that. I think it's going to come with Bellingham, and I think it could be something like, I talked about this in my video. Again, I keep going back to the video I talked about Trent, but Bellingham late runs into the box, headed goals. I said that, and I said that's why I think he could be an outside bet for Golden Boot, because I just think he's got that ability to sniff it out. And again, I said this in the video I did yesterday. You know that position where Trent picked the ball up and had the shot that went down the keeper's throat? You've got Bellingham there, and you've got Kane that are sort of on the edge of the box, could make that run in. I think they step off and allow Trent to have the shot because they're worried about Bellingham going in behind. Because Trent's got the ability in that position to curve that ball, and Bellingham get into it and fucking bosh and in the back of the net.
Yeah.
I just think to say that you've invested stocks in a player that is arguably one of the world's best is, a bit stupid. But I've invested stocks into Bellingham for this tournament. I think player of the tournament. I genuinely think that Bellingham will win player of the tournament. I still believe that England will win the Euros, and I think Bellingham will win player of the tournament. I just think he's going to have such a massive impact on it. He had such an impact on the game the other day, and I just don't think anything phases him. If he gets injured, we are fucked. We are fucked. Absolutely fucked.
It's rebounds as well. It's rebounds as well as darting runs, because he's just
so many ugly goals for Madrid last year. Yeah, exactly. So many ugly goals for Madrid. And that's great. That is perfect. I know you want to see Bellingham as that box-to-box number 8, maybe picking the ball up on the edge of the box and smashing it in the corner. I want to see Bellingham nicking rebounds. I want to see Bellingham getting in before the goalkeeper and scoring. That's what I want to see from Bellingham. That's what I will I'm going to get Bellingham shirt.
20 years old. Yeah, you got to. Yeah, this is the tournament. Then you can show your kids and your grandkids of being like, this is when we won it. This is when we brought it home. And I got the main man on my shirt. But I mean, to be 20 years old and tower over a big Serbian slabhead to score a bullet header in the top corner, I mean, he's him. He is him.
Yeah. Do you see Jared Bowman was saying that in the Lions Den thing, which is great content, by the way. I love the England. I love England content.
I've seen that.
The Lions Den thing, the player arrivals, the training roommates. I'm all over that shit. I'm probably going to watch it after this and have my lunch. Bowman was like, so we just watch it on air. But Bowman was like, oh, I felt sorry for the right back, because it was just like you could just sit on the bench. It's like you could just see Bellingham like a steam train just coming in as like, no, that's my ball. Fucking boss. I love goals.
Fuck off.
Yeah. Let's go like wank and calm down after this, honestly.
We'll take a break. Just what 2-minute break?
Give me 2 minutes.
Where does Bellingham rank then in terms of English teams' presence in a tournament with the likes of Michael Owen, Wayne Rooney? Surely there's a few more, but in that sort of rank,
there's the two that stand out. Yeah.
Yeah. Where does he rank, and where? Do you know?
I think. Yeah. I mean, Owen had that amazing moment against Argentina, like the incredible goal. But it's Rooney and Bellingham, isn't it? Like Rooney in Euro 2004 is this. I think you can't say Bellingham yet. I think it's those two like this, and then it's Owen. I think Bellingham's got the potential to have Euro 2004 levels of impact on this Euros. But Rooney, man, I love Wayne Rooney.
Yeah,
But I think Bellingham
massive.
could. I think Bellingham could do that. I really do. Like in a different way because they're kind of different sort of players. Like, Rooney was a bit more of a maverick, and some of the like again, you weren't. Even, were you born at Euro 2004, or were you
I
like
would have been
fresh out of the
like,
regime?
yeah.
There was
My
an
mum told me off
amazing.
for that, by the way. When I said that last week, I forgot. Fucking forgot.
Sorry, Mumsy.
She watched it. Yeah. Sorry, Teresa.
Sorry, Mumsy. Sorry, Teresa. Look forward to seeing you in my Instagram DM soon. No, but Rooney. Rooney. There was a clip that was like this. Someone put like this compilation of Rooney at 2004 Euros, and it was just like, what time to be alive that was. I was 6.
Yeah.
Like, it was like because Rooney was that player that made you want to be like, I want to be like him. Like that's the like.
Yeah.
And that's what Bellingham is as well. I think a load of kids will grow up and think Bellingham. Like that's who I want to.
Yeah.
Like the Beckham thing as well. Like Rooney was that at that tournament, and Bellingham will be that as well. Just a star. He's a born star. Like my girlfriend said the other day, and you know it's bad when like your girlfriend's like, he played well, didn't he? I was like, yeah, he fucking.
He's got a lot of aura, Ben.
Yeah. You're not right. It's bad. You're not watching the game. But she said it. Get out now. Oh, pop a pillow on my lap. She said it and was like, he just looks famous, like, and it's true.
Yeah,
like,
he does.
He could be a fucking what a man.
He could be anything. He could actually be anything, and he is model now.
He could
fucking
do anything.
He could. But I think this is his tournament where it's one for the ages. I do. I think it'll be one for the ages. Like Rooney, but I think he could maybe even eclipse this. I think it's massively. I mean, obviously, this is saying the obvious, but it depends on how far we get in the tournament. Because if we win it, it's an all-timer, isn't it? So
it's like again, it's kind of what I said about Bellingham. Like Rooney's injury in that tournament. Excuse me, sorry. Rooney's injury in that tournament stopped us from winning it. Really fucked us.
Yeah.
Like the when he had to go off against Portugal.
Yeah. Mark Gay, we referenced this earlier, but he settled a lot of nerves because I think a lot of people were a bit anxious about him playing. Obviously, it was his like full tournament debut, professional debut, I think, for England. Obviously, he's played like friendlies.
Competitive debut, yeah.
Competitive debut, yeah, that's it. That was the word I was looking for. Do you think he was underestimated? Fucking hell, having a stroke. Underestimated going into the tournament, or are the challenges yet to come? Because obviously you were a big fan of Mark Gay before the tournament, but a lot of people were a little bit sceptical about it.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on his performance and what's to come for him?
I thought it was excellent. He was superb. The bigger tests are yet to come, but 2 big physical strikers in Mitrovic and Vlahovic. I think it was one time maybe where he got done in the channel by Vlahovic, I think it might have been.
Great player.
He's a good player, a good striker. And other than that, he was very faultless, really calm on the ball. Mark Gay, like we were talking about Lions then. It was him and Bowen yesterday after the game, and Mark Gay was just like, I feel knackered. He was like, I'm just knackered. But he was just, when you listen to him talk, he's really calm. Like he's just very calm.
Yeah.
And I think that's what he brings to that back line. Naturally, there is that worry because we haven't got Maguire. And Maguire was so reliable for England and all this kind of stuff. And I was worried about it. I wasn't worried about Mark Gay's ability, but I was worried about a new centre-back pairing, both being very rusty going into the tournament. But after that, I think it's box ticked, I'll be honest. Again, there are massive challenges to come, like massive, obviously. We could, like, if we go all the way, we could play France, all those kind of things. So naturally, the big tests are to come, but I think it's a big box ticked and the test passed. You can only play what's in front of you, and I think I thought it was superb.
Yeah. I mean, Mitrovic and Vlahovic, that's a tough introduction to a competitive match at international level. And he was very composed, very competent on the ball. You know what? I think he's a good. I mean, one, he's a leader, a young leader, and 2, I don't think there was a lot of outside noise outside the camp that would have been sort of getting to a lot of the players about the defensive structure or about the personnel in defence. But Gay doesn't have social media.
No,
I think it was clear that he was very good at shutting all that pressure off and just playing his game, and he did himself really proud. And he's got to stay in that starting lineup because even I was starting to think maybe you just play Joe Gomez for the occasions and the sort of the experience, just because you're missing such a hole when it comes to sort of tournament experience in Harry Maguire. But Gay really stepped up, and he was brilliant. So what do you think? Obviously, he's got 1 year left on his contract after this summer. What do you think the summer has in store for him? Because Sammy Mockbell was linking in with Liverpool, United, Spurs yesterday, but he's going to get a lot of interest considering his contract and considering I think he's ready for that move. Yeah, and especially after a tournament, if he carries on with the level performance he showed against Serbia, where do you think his future lies?
I think he's going to have 1 more year at Palace. I think I could see him signing a new contract because I think that they might lose Elise and Eze. I do think that will happen. So I think Gahey as the club captain, is he? Or is it Anderson? Yeah. I think Gahey will commit his future for at least another year. And let them get the best value out of him. It would cost a lot of money anyway. Liverpool's not a bad shout. Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Maybe... But the thing is, like all the clubs that he's kind of been linked with are pretty set at centre back. Like Spurs, for example, I can't see that at all. No. Don't get me wrong. Like I know, it would kill me if we lost Christian Romero. But if Romero was to go in the next year or so, I think Gay would literally be the perfect replacement.
Yeah, I think so.
I love Gay. Like I really like him. I think he's class. I think he's got great temperament. I just think that. Maybe even Liverpool's like they've got Van Dijk and Konate, but it's like, I don't know, like who knows?
That long-term Van Dijk replacement, maybe.
Yeah, I think it'd be good for that. Yeah, I think he'll stay at Palace for another year and then see what happens next summer, especially if they're going to lose Eze and Elise. Palace know how to get the best value out of their players, and I think they will get him to sign a new contract, and he'll go next year. I think.
One thing's for sure, he'll be playing the right football for him, suitable for his game.
Exactly. Well. Mate, he's not even played under Glasner at all, really, has he? He's like,
no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't.
Just over 100 minutes or something under Glasner. So
yeah. Big things are coming for Mark Gay. I think he'll be an unbelievable. Like when you look back at his career in 10 years' time, I think people will think he's an unbelievable Premier League centre back. He's so young, people forget that, and obviously he's a captain, and he's been a captain for a few years. What is he, 23, 24? You don't reach your peak until you're about 28, 29, 30 as a centre back. So I think Liverpool would be a great move. I can see United trying for him if they don't get Jared Branthwaite. But I think this summer or the summer after, I think he's going to be. I think maybe the summer after is more. There'll be more opportunities for him. I think there'll be more players coming to the end of their eras at their club.
I think now it's a difficult time for him to move.
Van Dijk, John Stones or Van Dijk.
Maybe really not a bad show, you know.
Yeah, that sort of replacement for him. And obviously, whoever gets him, they're getting a leader, and they're getting a lot of quality in him. So, big future for him. But he was brilliant against Serbia.
And not to sound obvious, but like an England centre half as well by that point. Like he will be.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I kind of think like Maguire. Like I love Harry Maguire, but I do think now, like with him being this in this tournament, I think he's done. I think he'll go with. That's harsh, but like.
He'll go with Southgate.
Maybe, but potentially. But I think now Stones and Gahey are in because they have to be. I think that's it now. I think next World Cup they'll be the same partnership.
It'll be interesting to see like how long Stones has got left, how long Maguire's got left, because you're looking at the centre backs coming through. You've got Branthwaite, Colwill, 2 left-footed centre backs.
We're in a great position with that because Gay's right-footed as well.
Yeah, Quansah as well. See how he develops.
Yeah, Gay and Branthwaite. That could rock my world, you know.
That's pacey as well. You can play a high line with that.
Yeah,
both good in the air. I know Gay's not the tallest, but he's physical and he's got a massive jump on him.
Yeah,
and he is good in the air. But I mean, like we were saying at Spurs, there's too much going on at centre back now. I think we need to be smart. I think we need more versatility, more players that can come in, play full back and centre back, cover the left back and right back. Calafiori, mate. We looked at him yesterday.
We could tweeted yesterday. We could about to build the most handsome defence in Premier League history.
Yeah, we said that before.
Yeah, there's so much. Mate, that back four has got aura.
So much aura, and I'm in the middle of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Just like a Bukake of aura.
Darren and doing gangbang. Who wants to see it?
Patreon exclusive.
Yeah. Darren and doing on OnlyFans.
Yeah. Sorry, can we just talk about as well?
Watch that.
They might. Like, let us know in the comments. Did you see? Have you been seeing like the whole Astrid Wet thing as well? By the way, like of her in Germany.
No.
Oh my God.
No. I'm so happy I haven't as well. I'm so happy I haven't.
Honestly, I actually quite like. She rattled so many people the other day, and I rated it so much because she was basically like, because there was a video of her going around of getting scammed for a fake ticket for the Germany game, which I think was not real anyway. Like she put it out on Twitter, like I've been scammed, like for content. The next day, she was like, because she went to the England game. Her and that other girl were like, oh, people always ask us like how we get these tickets, saying that you paid over the odds for them, or like you're getting paid to go and all this kind of stuff. And she was like, no, what happens is we actually go to the games, and like that's how you actually get tickets. And it rattled so many people. And I was like, you know what, fair fucking play. I was like, that I actually rate that, because like there were so many people that like, how are they going? It's like, well,
they got a point.
Go to the games to like get the tickets.
The person you hate the most in the world makes a good point.
Exactly. Yeah, I was just like, fair play. I was like, she's got football Twitter on strings here. I've never been to a fucking football game in their life. Speaking of which, Mark fucking Goldbridge.
Oh, I saw that. Yeah, I did see that.
I tried to make a TikTok about it 2 times, but I got removed for community guidelines violations. I don't really know why. Talking about the fact that he was saying about one thing was saying about England fans moaning. Are we going to talk about Bowman? Because it's a pretty good segue to Jared Bowen.
I've seen that. Have you seen
the Bowen clip where he was like, Jared fucking Bowen? And then literally comes on and creates a chance for
That's well good.
He's such a swat. Like, because he was saying the other day, like, there was a thing like, I was in the barber's getting my hair cut, and there was all the hairdressers like who aren't interested in football saying we're really looking forward to the Euros, and I don't really support the football, but when England's on, and he was like, where were you when it was pouring down with rain on a Tuesday night in November? It was like, you were in your fucking bedroom, mate, watching the game. Like you can't comment on people like, oh, he's such a little. Oh,
I know. Yeah.
Can't stand him. But
he is.
Again,
he is
Supreme Rattler. Supreme Rattler. Yeah, exactly.
He is.
Jared fucking Bowen.
I did. That's so good, that impression. And he was like, he didn't want to give him credit either because he was oh, and he was like, that was a good. It was a good cross from Bowen actually.
Yeah.
He has been getting a lot of stick actually. But I saw a photo of that Astrid Wet and that other girl, the Arsenal fan that she's always with, and then and Stokey, that kid on Twitter.
Oh fuck
the
me,
the ratio kid. Tweet Nabber, yeah. And they were like, at this point, they're just grooming him. He's about 18 years old.
Weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it is weird. It is fucking weird.
The good song though. Good song.
I haven't heard it. Have you?
So shit.
Is it?
So shit.
Oh, I need. There's a bit of me that's kind of interested.
It's funny. It is quite funny. No, definitely listen to it. It's crap though.
I'll do that. Also have my lunch as well. But moving on. Before we get on to the Denmark game, how amazing was it? Eriksen's moment scoring against Slovenia for Denmark.
Yeah.
Was it 1,100 days after his collapse at the last Euros in the opening Denmark game? I mean, it actually got me, like tearing up, but I felt a lot of emotions there seeing it because it took me back to. I was sat down watching that game on live TV and the fucking stress. Just praying he'd pull through. Mate, that was the most intense. Obviously, because I grew up with, the best parts of my Spurs life was watching Eriksen just ball out, and then that moment he had, and the stress and the desperation for him to just wake up, and not knowing, being in the dark even after. It cut. You saw the whole thing, and then it cut when they sort of stretched him out of view. And not knowing what would happen, and then the pictures emerging that he was okay, and then fast forward to the next Euros, and he scored a great goal as well for Denmark.
Yeah, such a typical Eriksen goal as well, wasn't it?
Yeah,
make the run off the defender, and it was amazing. It just seeing his smile lit up as he was celebrating as well. It kind of just took you back to like those Spurs goals and that. That was that. It was funny. We did. I did a Patreon pod with Flav on for the Fighting Cock on Saturday morning, talking about it was like a Spurs thing. But I said to him, I was like, "Oh, you seen about Kevin Campbell?" And we were talking about how sometimes like with footballers and stuff, if someone passes away or something, like it doesn't really affect you because you don't really know them, but you obviously have that. Obviously, he was an Arsenal player, so there'd be no real reason for. But I said to him, I was like, the only real thing that really affected me like that was Muamba, because I was quite young. I remember that. But like the Eriksen thing, I was like inconsolable. Like that was horrific. Like that was absolutely horrific. Like I was just in tears the whole time watching someone in front of you who you've grown up with as a hero. And it was horrible. It was just horrible to watch, obviously. But for him to have that moment was just lovely. Like it was such a nice, back at the Euros, first game. And it was such an Eriksen kind of goal as well. He scored I think he scored in one of the warm-up games, didn't he, for them as well, which was like, was amazing for him. And again, he's been back playing for Denmark for a couple of years now. I remember, I think it was, wasn't it his first game back? Didn't he score in that? Like it was a game against Holland or something. He came off the bench and scored.
He did. I think he did.
This is an amazing moment. But to score at the Euros, again, like effectively at the kind of at the stage where everything happened to him was incredible. Like absolutely incredible. That I never ever want to go anything through my life, anything like that ever again. Watching him,
no way.
It's horrific.
Horrible.
But absolutely amazing for him. I'd still love him. So to hold him such a special place in my heart. It's amazing.
It was. The moment on whatever day was it Saturday?
Well, the game, the Denmark game, Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. I mean that moment. I mean, proper written by and scripted by the football gods, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it was just
Tiny
perfect.
Temper written in the stars.
Written in the stars. Yeah. But I hope he has an absolute fucking shit game. Because if he's balling out, we're in for some problems because he's such a brilliant player. So moving on to the Denmark game, what is their biggest threat? Is it Eriksen? And how can we hurt them?
He's obviously a big threat. I think I was sort of talking about it earlier with Trent, and I know we were saying that obviously given the opportunity and all that kind of stuff, but that's one thing that worries me is the midfield of Denmark. Is Højbjerg, Heung-Min, Eriksen, and then you've got two strikers that are going to want to press from the front in Højlund, and I think it's Wind. That's what I kept saying. I'm not sure it is. Who are going to want to press high. So that worries me a little bit. They're going to be snapping at the heels of Trent a little bit more than maybe the Serbian midfield were. Obviously, Eriksen in those positions is kind of in and around the box is cash money really. Like you can rely on him in those areas.
So much better as a 10 as well when he
really is better. Like behind two strikers as well. Like it's kind of back to Kane and Dele days, isn't it? Really, with Eriksen behind them. Defense is pretty solid. I like the look of that Bar, the wing back as well, the right back. He looks quite good.
Who's he play for Benfica?
Yeah, it will be tough. It will be tough. It will be tough in a different way to Serbia, but I think it might be a little bit more open, which might suit us as well. But yeah, their midfield, I think, is the concern for me in terms of just how, how almost like energetic and press. Sorry, I got hiccups. Their pressing ability. Eriksen was one of the best pressers in the league at Spurs, wasn't he? Like the distance covered, he was always right at the top of those stats and stuff. So that worries me a touch. That ability to just nick the ball back.
Do you think this is the hardest game in a group stage? And obviously, as well, they'll have that added sort
of not winning the first one.
Yeah, but also
everyone wants to beat England.
The semi-finals last Euros, we knocked them out. So that sort of added sort of motivation, initiative. Do you think this is our hardest game, hardest test?
Probably, but I don't think there's much in it between that and Serbia. But they're just different. It would just be a completely different game.
I'm
looking forward to it. I'm really looking forward to it. I think it would be a good game.
Can we afford to have any result other than a win in terms of the chaos it would cause around the country? Because obviously you can probably qualify on one win. You probably can, through the group stages. I mean, you can do, but you can.
Yeah, especially with the fact that you'd imagine it will be Serbia.
Imagine just imagine the fucking chaos, the carnage if we don't win this game after a bit of an underwhelming first game.
Yeah.
Would you start getting worried from that moment, or do you think,
nah,
it's just one of those?
Again, if we win the game, I think just move on, take it and move on. Again, if it's a really poor performance that massively papers over the cracks, then of course you have to kind of take that context with it. But nah, I'm not. I'm confident. I think we'll win. I think we're tough, but Yeah, and also like I think that it sets up the perfect scenario of kind of what we were talking about earlier of maybe making that third game a bit of a dead rubber against Slovenia, and then saying, well,
What does that
actually,
mean, dead rubber?
like as in we can just we know we're through, so it's like we can now.
Oh,
like, you know how like in the Belgium
yeah.
game in the World Cup we won the first 2 games. It was like right, we're just going to play the second team, try out
Yeah,
some new
yeah,
players,
yeah.
make it a bit like that, and then we see Gordon, and then we see
Wharton.
Wharton or Minu or
Mainly.
whoever, Gallagher
Yeah.
or someone. Maybe not Gallagher, but like some of the exciting players that are like we want to see.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So that's kind of the perfect situation.
How do you see this going then? And what's your score predictions?
I went with 2-0 Kane Bellingham in the first game against Serbia, and I'm going to go with 2-0 Kane Bellingham again.
Nice one. Okay.
I do.
Bellingham,
Yeah.
second goal in a row. I think
Yeah.
Kane will score. I think Kane's due a goal. You did say? Did you say Trent would score? Did you say
I thought I'd said I'd love to see Trent score. Yeah, yeah. You know what? Fuck it. 3-1 Bellingham, Kane, and Trent.
Oh shit. Okay.
3-1
Okay.
Bellingham, Kane, and Trent. I think Trent's going to score a free kick or a worldie or something. Clip it up.
I think I can see Trent scoring. You know, I can see Trent scoring. I'm going to say 2-0 Kane and Trent.
Love it.
And we grow into the tournament, and it fucking comes on.
And we grow from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think it's coming
Could be
over.
more than that. It's
Could be more than
a 1-0.
Enjoy the lunch, mate.
Ben, as per, you've been a legend. Been brilliant.
Thanks,
Where can people find you?
YouTube, Ben Bowman. I think now.
Nice.
I think we're at the stage. I think we are at the stage where I am pipping Michael Jackson in the search results. So
nice. Let's go.
If you search me, I think I will come up now. Not bloody Michael Jackson.
The second death of Michael Jackson.
Exactly. New video just put out just before this, reacting to Tottenham's fixtures. Video yesterday about dissecting the England game. Mikey Moore videos doing well, ticking over nicely as well. Got some Eze videos, got some Gallagher videos on there as well. Plenty of England content and Spurs stuff coming throughout the summer. So keep a bloody eye on that, mate. And then TikTok, come and join the Romanian clan that has got on board with the channel the last day or so. On the march to 20k, which hopefully soon after by the end of the Euros. And yeah, mate, I'm going to go watch Lions Den and go watch Deckers and Ivan Toney, who are the guests this afternoon, and eat my lunch, mate.
And I'm going to go watch Astrid Wett's singing performance.
Singing, yeah?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to...
What? What are you insinuating? What?
What? No, I don't do that.
No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
Yeah, no, send it to me after as well.
Yeah, nice one. All right,
come on, England.
Legends. Come on, England. Catch you all later.
Come on, England. Come on, England.